And let's take a look at our starting lineups tonight. We start with the visiting Bradley Braves off of what's a 20-win season and an NCAA tournament appearance. The JUCO transfer, Danye Kingsby. We talked about Darryl Brown in our open, more than 1,300 career points for their top returning leading scorer and their leading scorer each of the last 3 seasons. Elijah Childs ended up closing the year strong as the most outstanding player in the Missouri Valley tournament. And then Koch Bar and the NBC sixth man in Nate Cannell. So that for the Bradley Braves. For the St. Joseph's Hawks. And plenty of new faces for Billy Lang. A roster that in that starting lineup, 2 of those players from a year ago, Lorenzo Edwards and Taylor Funk. Everybody talking about Ryan Daly, 1,000 career points. For the son of a former, wouldn't have it any other way. Kenneth Clark, Ryan Sassano, Rusty Phillips are officials tonight. It's Clark to toss it up in the air. And the first possession of this young season goes to Billy Lang's Hawks. Tough to really draw any parallels to last year with such few remaining holdovers from the roster. But it doesn't take long. 22 seconds in, give the basketball to Bradley. Bar with a look at the mid-range jumper. And Bradley on the board 30 seconds into this for the 6'11 senior from Abyei in South Sudan over in Africa.
And from a Hawk standpoint, you worry about Bar in the lane. If he's going to make 16, 17 footers, they're going to have to adjust their defense.
Daly catch and shoot, 1 and done. So 2 empty trips so far, 53 seconds into this opening half.
Daly tweeting out last night, I don't know if you saw him, Matt. He felt like it was Christmas Eve.
Well, that's a top of the key Christmas present for Elijah Childs, who's not a great three-point shooter over the course of his career, about 29%. But early on, 5-0 Braves. But Brown gets a look. And the freshman from Greenbelt, Maryland has St. Joseph's on the board. Averaged 19 points a game as a senior at Eleanor Roosevelt High School, program that's been good to St. Joseph's.
Very good.
Brown off the step back. And Daly looking to push the pace. This is going to be a theme. It's punched off the glass. Bar with the quick recovery. And the setup for Cannell. Edwards not strong enough on the glass. And Childs got it altered. Edwards catch and shoot, quickly 1 and done.
And you quickly see the Hawks' offensive philosophy. Push, shoot, preferably from behind the arc.
8 total points if this in 2 minutes. If this is the type of basketball we're going to play, I like this pace.
And the Braves, not a high-scoring team last year. They play great half-court defense, and the Hawks are speeding them up.
Brown sits his feet, and no problem there for a guy who coming in had 174 career-made threes, 39% career shooter. 5-point early lead and quick hands for the JUCO transfer. Kingsby rising, but can't convert the layup. And Douglas gets a look at the other end.
He's going to have to be tighter with his handle, though, Matt, if the Hawks are going to get away with the transfer playing point guard as he is tonight. They don't have many options, if any, at that position. And he's already mishandled one for a turnover and been stripped for another.
St. Joseph's going to need contributions from everybody in Billy Lang's rotation tonight. Cannell on the board for the first time. It's a thinner bench. Anthony Longpre in the front court, out with an illness. And Sharif Knox out for a game for disciplinary reasons.
Okay, so 6 scholarship players in uniform tonight for St. Joseph's. And Bradley also a little banged up in the front court, but still a much deeper team than SJU.
And Brian Wardle with the option to go about 9 deep. And Bar, they're going to have to honor them. That's 2 of them from that same spot.
But who's going to guard him straight up?
That's a great question.
And he holds the ball high, shoots it high. Good fundamental basketball.
Played over 4 minutes. Funk unable to execute the back door. Brown, excellent feed, and Bar with the punctuation. 6 now for Koch Bar. It's 4 different Braves on the board. Led by Bar. 2 game between Daly and Funk. Shot clock cut in half, and Funk too many steps. And that sends us to an official timeout with 15:20 left in the first half. And St. Joseph's down early to the Bradley Braves.
It's a lot of extra possessions to give up to a good team. And make no mistake, the Braves are a good, veteran, confident team coming off their last 6 or 8 weeks of last season.
Finished up with the NCAA tournament. They were within a possession of Michigan State, basically almost to the under 4 timeout. Then it was a late 3 and a bunch of made free throws for the Spartans. Speaking of threes, Taylor Funk dialing it up.
Taylor, the leading scorer in the exhibition win, and trying to bounce back from what was a disappointing sophomore campaign.
And 19 for Funk in 23 minutes against Arcadia. Cadell off the dribble that time. For the 6th man of the year in the Valley. Also does it in the classroom. 2-time scholar athlete. And we get a foul under the basket.
Taylor made the first 3 he took in the exhibition game, and the first 3 he takes in the regular season from a good couple of steps behind the line, Matt. And we haven't even mentioned the line is further back here in Division I this season.
One of the rule changes in Division I. That last Bradley foul on Jashawn Henry. Funk this time maybe feeling the distance of the line with the hand in his face.
Well, talking to Taylor at some practices, I said, you're one of the veterans. How does it feel? And he said, I love the offense, and why wouldn't he? Because he's got an even greener light this season. And he always had one. That's a foul.
Yeah, automatic green lights on the Daly miss. Brown gets fouled.
Bradley foul number 10.
Ramir Moore newly in for St. Joseph's. You want to talk about Philadelphia as the biggest little city in the country in terms of connections and family connections. Ramir Moore, younger brother of Ramon Moore. So we get
played
more,
at Temple.
Yeah, more activity away from the basketball.
And?
Of course, sister Ayanna Cornish.
And
brother-in-law of one Kyle Lowry. I think we've covered it all.
Ayanna, women's basketball star here on Hawk Hill about a decade ago.
Yeah, under Cindy Griffin.
So I'd like to say Kyle Lowry married up.
The fun game's a horse in that family. How about it? Shot clock down to 5. Moore with the exaggerated step. And Kenneth Clark says,
hooked him.
A little arm bar.
We don't have to pass the horse, do you?
No, don't have to worry about that.
Well, to Bradley's credit, Matt, the Hawks trying to get them to play faster than maybe they would like, but they've responded by being very efficient on mid and long-range jump shots.
They seemed very comfortable early on.
The longer possessions have actually been less efficient for the Braves at this point.
Childs, and that actually deflected.
Yeah, it hit Brown.
That hit Brown and then went off the other Brown.
Right.
Brown on Brown deflection.
Koch Bar. Check in for Bradley.
Turnover for the Braves is actually their first of the basketball game.
And Bradley getting deeper into its bench. And the Hawks have rotated a couple of guys out, but have only played the 6 scholarship players in uniform.
And Cameron Brown, Taylor Funk, Ryan Daly, Miles Douglas, and Ramir Moore for St. Joseph's. Jashawn Henry along with Bar, Gabriel, Canale, and Brown. Actually, Vile Tabanainen, actually the 5th. Hawks get the bucket from Cam Brown. And a tie-up at this end of the floor. And will stay with the Braves. Look over there and see Brian Wardle.
Miles Douglas showing some take it to the rim skill.
Excuse me, Douglas with what's his second field goal, now up to 5. Henry on the turnaround, 1 and done. Catch and shoot for Brown, nice find for Daly. And Douglas with his hand in the cookie jar.
St. Joseph's foul number 2, Miles Douglas.
So the UCF transfer picks up his first. And what's the team's second here early on?
Only 3 personals total through over 7 minutes of play.
Well, you were talking about trying to get home by 9 o'clock.
Well, there are some big games on, man. I'm not suggesting that this isn't one of them. But opening night across the sport.
No bracket implications in this one, though, just yet.
Bradley would disagree.
Brown with the miss. Hawks on the run. And Daly takes the contact. He'll go to the line.
He is a linebacker, isn't he? He just happens to play basketball. I think Brian Daly is going to be one of those guys getting buckets in pickup games when he's 50 years old.
The guy at the Y?
Yes.
That guy can play.
Here's number 1, Ryan Daly. Daly is shooting.
An article this week in the Philadelphia Inquirer by Mike Jensen. His fellow classmates watching him in the exhibition game turned and said he's a bulldozer. And meant it as a compliment.
And it is a compliment. It placed at his strengths. I just wonder, as the competition in the lane gets bigger and stronger in the Atlantic 10, will he be able to get baskets as easily?
Brings this back to a 3-point Bradley lead. Good D for Edwards. Henry wide open. And there's a reason for it. Didn't take many of those this season ago. Only a 28% three-point shooter for the Canadian from Saskatchewan.
Again, very early here, Matt, but the game is going against type to a degree, in my view, because the more it's bogged down, the better the Hawks have looked, and they want to play fast and loose. And the opposite for the Braves.
The faster they've been forced to go, the more efficient they've been.
Bradley fouls on number 2.
They get a foul on Antonio Thomas with 11:52 here left in the first half.
With his length and reach, that's going to be an advantage, and I think another advantage for the Hawks, which I shortchanged them some. They have 7 scholarship players, Matt. Dennis Ashley, the graduate transfer from Maine, makes his first appearance.
6'1", out of Los Angeles. Ashley played in 84 games at Maine. Ramir Moore's first college game, but showed a knack in the exhibition contest for getting to the basket. Edwards shot challenge and knocked the ball out of bounds.
And it's the defense that has really picked up, not expected to be the Hawks' calling card. They're challenging, they're blocking out. For the most part, prior to this possession, limiting the Braves to one shot.
Nice find, Cannell to Kingsby.
Yeah, that's great ball movement. A veteran Cannell.
And Bradley back up by a full possession. So they call that a deep 2 for Kingsby. Moore again, alley to the basket, score it, plus the basket.
Moore, another one of those perimeter players for the Hawks who has a thick upper body, used it to get into the lane, take the contact, and finish over a taller defender. And he can tie it now. Hawks have not been tied since the game began.
And now on an 11-2 run.
I'd say it's been more like a jog, the way the game has slowed down, but they'll take the outcome, and now we'll see what Bradley has in terms of an answer. Moore, I think, as a defensive presence, has helped tighten things up at this end for St. Joseph's.
Shot clock inside to cut in half. And look at that, Childs on the way in, following the miss from Kingsby. And a foul on the Braves at this end.
Hawks coach Billy Lang saying to us yesterday, if we don't box out, have no chance against Bradley. Well, terrific follow by Childs, who's had a pretty nice career doing just that.
Elijah Childs out of Kansas City, Missouri. Shot blocker, rebounder, scorer extraordinaire.
You see here, nobody close to Childs. You could have dunked that one, Matt, maybe, if you had a chair.
Yeah, step ladder. Something like that. Almost at the halfway point. Bradley built a big lead early on. St. Joseph's has climbed back in. Ashley sniping. And knocks down the three. Already more points than he did in 13 minutes in the exhibition game. And St. Joseph's with the early lead. And contact under the basket. Moore there to take the charge.
I think Koch Bar is getting whistled.
And I'm sorry, not considered a charge.
First, team's 7.
Yeah, I'm not sure why that wouldn't be a player control foul.
On the line for St. Joseph's, number 10.
Determined that he'd given it up.
Yep.
A 1-and-1.
Already the 7th team foul on the Braves. So the front end coming for Ramir Moore.
Remember we said there had only been 3 fouls committed in the game, Matt? That was less than 3 minutes of play ago. That kind of reflects the rock fight that this has turned into.
Bar might have gotten an extra step, uses the window.
Yeah, I think it was a good move and a good play.
8 now for Koch Bar. And 2 early jumpers and have been a little quiet as of late.
Whoa.
Ashley again. Maybe a bit of a heat check there coming off the bench for Dennis Ashley.
Looked like he shot that one from Maine, not transferring from Maine.
And Brown, good bounce game to the cup. For only the 3rd Bradley Brave in program history to lead the team in scoring each of his first 3 years. Edwards one and done. Not even Hersey Hawkins did that, Joe.
What a great player.
Yeah, he was. We liked him a lot here in Philadelphia.
One of 2 Bradley products to be All-Stars with the Philadelphia 76ers. Tonight's trivia question, Matt, can you name the other?
I'm going to come up small, I have a feeling, Joseph.
Well, you may not have been born.
Stephen Gabriel, by the way, newly into the game. Moore sits down.
Returns to the game for Bradley.
The Finnish freshman, Ville Tavanainen, back in. Koch Bar to the bench.
We know we have a good contingent of Bradley folks tuning in. Somebody tweet me that answer. The other Bradley product to be an NBA All-Star here in Philadelphia.
Nice recovery by Cannell down on the block. And Henry right to the rack, counted, plus the foul.
Strong answer by the Braves, 6 straight and counting since the Hawks briefly took their only lead of the night.
St. Joseph's fouls on number 21, Lorenzo Edwards. That's his first team.
Lorenzo Edwards hit with his first, only the third on St. Joseph's. Bradley team definitely full of experience. 4 of their starting 5 with 40-plus starts at least each, led by 96, now 97 of them for Darrell Brown. Braves by 6, 11.5 into the first half. Brian Daly just lost a shoe.
Just pulled the Zion Williamson.
Shot clock halfway gone, yeah, except that one stayed intact.
And apparently so did his leg.
There was not a shoe blowout.
Ooh.
Brown way out. And good hustle play for Stephen Gabriel. Will stay down at this end. First that we will see tonight, the walk-on and the biology major, Tolliver Freeman, whose teammates call him Doc. Obviously, that one needs no explanation, I don't think. Med school plans in the future for Freeman. Cannell, nice spin. And foul on the rebound. Looks like we're going to stay at this end.
Daly holding his man on a box out.
St. Joseph's foul number 1, Ryan Daly. His first, team's fourth.
Billy Lang pleading his case. You know, we haven't had a chance to observe kind of Billy's bedside manner.
Referee diplomacy skills. It's always fun watching them discuss current events, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
Gabriel off the turn, and Funk able to close out.
He had Funk pinned and couldn't take advantage.
And Douglas, that's what he brings. 7 now for Miles Douglas.
He covers a lot of ground in a pretty short number of strides.
Yep. We wouldn't know what that's like. Bradley by 4.
St. Joseph University.
St. Joseph.
Start to finish.
Brown and Cannell, along with Tavanainen and Koch Bar. Stephen Gabriel. Tavanainen and sent away by Douglas. Shot clock down to 4. Possession stays with Bradley. Gabriel off the inbounds and couldn't finish. More 2 game between Daly and Funk. Nice find for Douglas. Brown and Daly a little flat-footed in the corner. And nice job by Funk to stay with it. 5 now for Taylor Funk. And back to a 2-point game. Tavanainen. And that was his forte, one of them over in Finland. Had a big exhibition game in their blowout win over Milliken. Score from Decatur, Illinois. Funk way out and way off. Douglas with the save attempt in numbers for the Braves. And Gabriel pure. And that's now a 2-point game. Quickly turns into 8. Back-to-back threes for the Braves. Bit of a homecoming for Stephen Gabriel from Irvington, New Jersey. When you play in the Missouri Valley, you're probably not coming too much closer than that.
That's right. Evansville, I guess.
And one-and-done trip thanks to Douglas. And the offensive foul on Gabriel.
There is an emphasis on delay of game warnings and technical fouls this year for flopping. I'm not saying that was a flop by Ryan Daly, but it was the first time tonight that I thought of the new rule.
Right. Where it creeped into your stream of consciousness. You talked about boxing out. 7 seconds.
Closing out for the Hawks on this run by Bradley.
Boxing out and closing out, but 7 second chance points on 9 offensive rebounds tonight for the Braves. Hawks with 0 second chance points. Nice find over the shoulder, Douglas to Edwards. And a foul out of the basket.
Of course, Edwards, an Illinois native.
And Lake Forest, Illinois, over there in Chicago Bears practice facility country.
And from what I saw on Sunday, no disrespect to our Illinois viewers, they need to be spending a little time there at the Bears practice facility.
I'm going to call it right now. Someone on some message board somewhere is destroying you for that comment.
They can do what they want, but if they have eyes, they saw the same game that I did.
Tapping
Because it ain't like the home team covered themselves in glory.
That's true. They made it as interesting as they could. And Cannell has this back to Bradley's largest lead. It's been as many as 8. And Brown quickly gets it back. So impressive debut early on for Cameron Brown. But the Braves continue to like this faster pace.
And they beat the Hawks down the floor and score easily. And of course, Bradley's run to the NCAA tournament last year coincided with an uptick in their offense in the back portion of the season.
And the guy who just scored that last bucket was their best player in their last few games. Speaking of best players tonight for the Hawks, 8 now for Brown. And back to within 5.
And his reputation is as a knockout shooter, and we've seen it tonight and in the exhibition game.
A little Olay red cape, though, there. Darryl Brown unabated to the cup. Nine now for Brown. Balanced scoring thus far for the Braves. Daly forcing the issue.
He just put his head down like a fullback and told himself he wasn't not getting to the rim.
It's actually, I believe, Ryan Daly's first field goal of the night. A couple free throws to go with that bucket.
Scored 1,000 points in 2 years at Delaware. And say what you want about maybe a lower level of Division I, but 1,000 points is a lot.
Brown backing himself onto the baseline and out of bounds, and an offensive foul.
Miles Douglas getting good position and paying for it a bit.
Now Ryan Daly, Lorenzo Edwards. It's a good night for fans, young and old, to be out.
A pretty entertaining game here for opening night.
Yes, it is.
Let's not forget that wasn't that long ago, this point of the calendar, teams would still be practicing.
That's right. Yeah, we're about a week ahead of schedule.
Nice pass.
Edwards. It's sent away by Bar, but that's a goaltend.
Lorenzo's got to finish that if only to reward Daly by thinking a step. Watch this bounce pass. How does he see him through traffic? Then Daly in position to get the rebound and the goaltend bucket.
Kingsby with an alley and right around Edwards. Danny Kingsby, the former LSU signee.
I'll be honest, Matt. I think Bradley could take the Hawk guards off the dribble
just about any time they want.
Yes.
Yeah. Moore has done quite a bit of that, though. This end, Edwards well off target. And numbers again for the Braves. They seem to enjoy pushing this pace and score the bucket for Cannell.
Would have been a goaltend had it not dropped.
And back to within a point of what would be Bradley's largest lead. Daly off of the screen from Funk.
He's a scorer, but not really a shooter from three-point range.
Two minutes left here, first half.
For the most part, Bradley has had this working margin. Let's see if the Braves can take it into halftime.
Thomas, everything but the finish. Bar couldn't do it. And Henry nearly climbed the ladder to get that to go.
That's got to hurt as Ramir Moore goes down, smacking himself on the floor. He's holding his forehead, but I thought he hit his elbow or his shoulder.
It's his second.
Either way, it's got to hurt.
Ramir Moore, Philadelphia tough.
If he's as tough as his brother-in-law, Kyle Lowry.
Or his brother, period.
Correct.
Ramon won a few games, scored some points.
On the line for St. Joseph's.
One thing I do know,
Number 10,
college
Moore.
body
He's shooting.
already for Ramir Moore. It's like he spent some time in the weight room with strength coach Eric Lang.
Second gamer returns for Bradley. Cameron Brown for St. Joseph's.
6 early points for Moore.
Matt, I've been in that weight room several times.
Uh-huh.
It's never transformed my body.
I guess you should go a little further than the entranceway.
Well, aren't you supposed to bring a cheeseburger?
I guess. They call them repetitions for a reason, Joseph. 5-point Bradley lead. Thomas had Bar on the pick and roll. And the push off. It goes on Cannell.
Bradley foul number 25. Made Cannell his first.
I look across the way and see Billy Lang. He and Brian Wardle with something in common. From their first stops, both at the time when they took over their respective jobs, Wisconsin, Green Bay, and Navy. Each was the youngest head coach in Division I at the time. Obviously different years. Out of bounds from way outside for Taylor Funk.
On John Griffin, young John Griffin over on Billy Lang's bench. His dad was the youngest coach in Division I when he went to Siena back in the mid-'80s. Eventually spending 5 years here on Hawk Hill as the head man.
All kinds of parallels. Bradley's shot clock cut in half. That time, Kingsby maybe forced the issue, got it stripped away. Moore with a good defensive play. Bounce game for Brown. Funk. There was another shot to be had for Moore. Edwards.
And one.
And Bar. Count it.
Yeah,
and
not
a
a good,
for Lorenzo Edwards.
not a good reach-in foul there for Bradley on the interior because Edwards had position and a step. An easy finish for that one chance. And there was more than one extra pass on that possession. But it was Brown who made the one that counted for an assist. Cam Brown, that is.
He's shooting one.
First one to 85 wins.
way higher scoring than I would have expected.
And Brian Wardle with about 2.5 second differential between shot and game clock with a timeout. Want to discuss this last one?
30-second timeout.
I think it was Shavar Newkirk hit a buzzer beater in a Hawk victory.
That's right.
That Hawk team went on to win 28 games under Phil Martelli, the second most in school history.
Yeah, that was a good year.
And one of the stars of that team walked by us at the last time out, Isaiah Miles. Terrific forward now on, I think, the Delaware Blue Coats,
That's
right?
right. That's correct. Sticking
G
around.
League.
Nice cut and find Henry with inside 10 seconds left. Brown and will take the contact and get himself to the line to finish up this first half.
Been a physical first half for an up-tempo contest for the most part. It's going to end with Brown on the foul line in the double bonus.
Bradley foul number 23. Ville Tavanainen.
Ville Tavanainen hit with his second personal.
Cameron Brown just got his first lesson in finish with 2 ends.
Helsinki, Finland for Tavanainen. Nine points now for Cameron Brown. Comes from an athletic family. Mom played at William & Mary. Dad played football at Rice.
And had originally committed to William & Mary.
And Billy Lang and his staff happy that Tony Shaver isn't a pair.
Their way to the World Championship.
I remember Luke Jackson's son, Lukey, at Syracuse. Does that count?
No.
Okay. Ready to start the second half. Same starting 5 for St. Joseph's. Lorenzo Edwards, Ryan Daly, Taylor Funk, Cam Brown, and Miles Douglas. Cannell and Darryl Brown, along with Childs, Barr, and Kingsby for Bradley.
Oh.
And Brown.
He kept his pivot.
Yeah, kept the pivot. Yes, he did. Shot clock cut in half. Nice find for Barr. And a second chance at a finish. Got stripped, but a foul. Kenneth Clark says he'll go to the line.
Meanwhile, you've got Darryl Brown for 9 points. The halftime box has him for 5. The scoreboard has him for 7. So we know he's got some points, but not very many, and that Bradley would expect more from their star in the second half.
He lost a couple, I guess, during daylight savings time.
They set the clocks back, not his box score.
Barr, 72% free throw shooter a year ago. Good first half for Koch Bar. What was 8 points?
And he and Cam Brown, the double-figure scores in that first half. Each with 10 for their respective squads. And Bradley draws first blood here in half number 2, 1 out of 2 from the line.
But quickly, the quick hands for Kingsby.
By my count, that's 3 turnovers on Miles Douglas attempting to play point guard for St. Joseph's.
And there was talk about that because of his length and his ability to handle the ball, maybe a little bit of a point forward.
And see over the defense.
Yeah.
I mean, look.
And a good first step.
The Hawks staff knows they don't have a point guard. And they're going to have to cobble it together somehow. And they're going to face pressure in the backcourt until they demonstrate enough that it's going to be a net negative for the defense to do so.
Rotation-wise, 2 players and 1 guard short tonight. Anthony Longpre, Sharif Knox. Longpre dealing with an illness on the bench in street clothes. Sharif Knox, 1 game disciplinary.
The Hawks got useful minutes in the first half from Ramir Moore for sure, but also Dennis Ashley and Tolliver Freeman to help cover that void in the backcourt.
They honor Childs and that 29% career 3-point shooting percentage. Happy feet over in the corner for Douglas. And a turnover. Now the 7th for SJU. Second one of this half. But Bradley responds in kind, gives it back. And Daly taking advantage.
Ryan Daly.
6 now for Ryan Daly, back to within a point. Intensity has not been an issue tonight for opening night on either side. Bar, again the range.
Koch Bar.
Give him double figures, 11 for Koch Bar. Only his 15th career double-figure game. In what's his 99th contest. And
Daly just continues.
Bradley.
Yeah, to be a bulldozer going to the rim. Getting himself to that foul line.
Bradley foul number 25. Nate Cadell. That's his second. Team's first. On the line for St. Joseph's is Ryan Daly, shooting 2.
Ryan Daly, a little flat-footed on the free throw attempt. That's honestly, if you look at parts of his game where you would say, hey, we'd like this to get a little better. Career just under 65% foul shooter in the 2 years at Delaware.
And a 33% three-point shooter, but this is where he excels.
And missed the reverse layup. Got the hustle play. And that's what they want to do. And this building more alive than it was about a minute ago. Edwards, though, a foul on Darryl Brown.
St. Joseph's foul number 21, Lorenzo Edwards, his second, team's third.
Now the hustle certainly there for Ryan Daly.
That's really a spark. He brings an edge, Matt.
Almost and a much-needed chip on the shoulder. Bar. And continues to clean it up. Windex in front of the rim. 13 now for Koch Bar. Daly sniping and singes the front of the rim. Fresh clock, it's a bounce game for Edwards. Balanced scoring for St. Joseph's. Nobody in the lineup right now with less than 7 points. Led by Daly's 11. Nice find from Bar. Kingsby, crowd wanted to travel, and Bar staying with it, but couldn't get it to go. Douglas, rim running, and punches it down. And a timeout for Brian Little. This time, the fast pace beats the big.
Bradley just not shooting it very well to start the second half. 2 of 7. 0 of 1 from beyond the arc, and now they're going to have to come from behind on the road in what can be a very tough building.
A little more interior action this half for St. Joseph's. 8 points in the paint. And what's led to almost 67% shooting here in the second half. Shot clock down to 8. For the Finn, Taganainen. Childs, that's high percentage.
Elijah Childs in the basket.
And 9 now for Elijah Childs. He and Bar formed a formidable duo in that front court. Combined for 22 with a 52 for Bradley. Funk open but flat-footed.
Very.
And Cannell trying to hit it at the other end. It's off Childs and out of bounds.
I think the Hawks maybe got a break there, but they just teed up the Braves.
Elijah Childs.
On the other hand, gets 2 free throws on what's called a Class A technical. They will not keep the ball after the free throw attempts. But can put points on the board here and maybe quiet what had become a pretty raucous Hagan Arena here in Philadelphia.
Cannell, who was a 65% foul shooter a season ago. But no problem with both of those. On what's a busy night, busy opening night for Atlantic 10 schools. 10 different games on the slate tonight. One of them has already gone final. Duquesne blowing out Princeton at home, 94-67.
Say what you want, but 94 points against Princeton could be 2 games worth for a lot of places.
I know you and I both enjoy Keith Dambrot, both stylistically and intensity.
Zone look here for Bradley.
And Daly slipping inside. And tied again. Not much separation. We had some of the first half. A good drive for the Memphis, Tennessee native Antonio Thomas, who played with some guy in high school named James Wiseman. Only the Gatorade National Player of the Year. Edwards, back rims, and a push off on the rebound. Looks like they do get Thomas.
Daly's selling that one, but a good call. 3 Braves at the bench, so wholesale substitutions. Thomas out.
And the other Memphis,
Koch Bar and Cannell coming out.
Yeah, the other Memphis native, Darryl Brown, coming back in. Plenty of City of Blues connections on this Bradley team. Darryl Brown's godfather, among others.
Penny Hardaway.
Yeah, his Instagram, I am 1 cent. Anthony, call him Penny Hardaway. Daly with some fancy footwork.
He just gets baskets.
That's more than a penny. That's worth a few more. 56 apiece. Daly now with 15 in his first official game as a St. Joseph's Hawk.
Brown fouled there, I thought, by Freeman. Maybe he just slipped by him. Either way, not the kind of opening night that Brown was hoping for, at least thus far. Stuck on what we think are 7 points. That's an over and back. That was like an offside in hockey. Cam Brown and Ryan Daly. A little bit discombobulated crossing the timeline.
And Billy Lang.
Daly threw it backwards.
Billy Lang with a look that says, "You've got to be kidding me." Childs, they'll honor that. And short, there's a reason. 6 minutes past to the second half, and Daly ends up calling for the carry, says Ryan Sasato. And back-to-back St. Joseph's turnovers.
Number 2, Miles Douglas returns for St. Joseph's.
And Daly with maybe a settle-it-down breather. Miles Douglas back in. The JUCO transfer Kingsby and Brown. Childs, along with Jashawn Henry. And the Helsinki, Finland native, Ville Tavanainen. This is Tavanainen. A big offensive rebound for Childs.
Oh, that is a grown man rebound right there.
And
a
gets
finish.
rewarded, but can't finish. Same spot where Edwards missed the dunk. And it's out of bounds. They'll say Kingsby didn't touch it.
Childs, though. Ooh. Didn't finish it, but he sure looked like a pro on that play. First with the pull and then with the put-back dunk attempt.
Kingsby off the curl and cashes in. Daniel Kingsby. Give him 7. And Bradley back in front by 3. Ramir Moore newly in. along with Tolliver Freeman. Edwards didn't even have to come down. Nice find for Douglas. And Darryl Brown is along the sideline.
The ball keeps moving on offense for St. Joseph's, and this is a great example of a touch pass about 30 feet through the defense. Douglas to Edwards for 2.
Hawks give it right back. Now for Miles Douglas, we talked about the turnovers. That was actually his first assist of the night. Henry, again, not a great three-point shooter, but makes him pay.
Flat-footed, but unguarded. And Bradley gets a mini cushion.
So working margin for the Braves. Moore has gotten there all night. Contact.
Ouch.
And a blocking foul.
He's gone down hard a couple of times.
Bradley foul with 22 to Sean Henry. That's his third, team's third.
Sean Henry hit with what's his third personal.
On the line for St. Joseph's.
One thing you'll say, though, about Moore, Joe, not afraid of the contact.
Philly guard.
That's right.
Stephen Gabriel returns for Bradley.
Now with 8 off the bench.
For St. Joseph's.
And what's a thinner than normal rotation tonight for Billy Lang. But Hawks have made the most of their resources. And Moore has it back to within 2. Eight minutes into the second half. Matt Martucci, Joe Lenardi here on opening night from Hagan Arena. Dennis Ashley back in for the Hawks. And Daly hand checked. If that's Henry, that's his 4th. And it will be. 14th foul on the Braves. We see Sean back in.
Through the Missouri Valley Conference tournament a year ago, watching that, you know, we tend to watch those championship week games pretty closely in my corner of the world, and they were terrific. Pulling out games just like this.
And Daly scored that basket.
That's goaltending. He scored a basket for Ryan Daly. Bradley foul number 0, Daniel Kingsley. That's his second, team's 5th.
Daniel Kingsley hit with his second. And already 5 team fouls for Bradley. And Ryan Daly, who a couple years ago averaged almost 18 a game at Delaware, right there tonight. 18 points to the 1-point St. Joseph's lead, and give him a rebound. Brown streaking to the basket and couldn't get it to go down. But
he wasn't ever really able to cup it. Yeah.
That time Ryan Daly playing a little quarterback.
Childs was very impactful on that play, more so than the naked eye would have led us to believe. And Bradley in this extended zone, and they got some long guys, but the Hawks find it, and who is it? Ryan Daly lurking. And the Hawks have what I think is their largest lead.
Caught Koch Bar sleeping, but Brown quickly with a response. And Darryl Brown headed to the line.
St. Joseph's foul number 1, Ryan Daly. That's his second.
Second one on Ryan Daly. 15 foul on Billy Lang's guys.
On the line.
Bradley, not a great foul shooting team a year ago. Shooting in the mid-60s. As you look toward a game that could devolve into a foul shooting contest. The Hawks, frankly, too new to have much of a track record at the line.
Antonio Thomas, Nate Canella.
Brown at almost 74% a year ago.
One shot remaining.
Antonio Thomas back in. Kingsby sits down. And 1 of 2, and Bradley back to within a bucket. And that telegraphed, and Cannell trying to take advantage, and definitely some contact.
No question. It was a little bit of a late whistle, but an accurate one.
Yeah, it was.
St. Joseph's foul number 21, Lorenzo Edwards.
Third one on
That's his
Edwards.
third.
Lorenzo Edwards.
6.
So how many times do you think this year Hawk fans are going to look up and go, Ryan Daly has 20 points?
Miles Douglas returned for St.
He didn't get his first basket until halfway through the first half.
Quite, yeah. That's a great point.
As well as Oliver Freed.
And I raised the point because I looked down and thought to myself, Ryan Daly has 20 points.
Now, it happened 10 times, 20 or more, in his last season at Delaware. Almost at the halfway point of the second half.
He's on Childs, and that's a tough matchup.
Especially with Childs facing up, and there it is, off the spin.
And you see Daly asking for help, but
who's helping with that?
Right. And Childs experienced enough to pass out of a double team.
He now has 11. St. Joseph's shot clock cut in half. Good find for Freeman. And just couldn't convert. Good look. Bradley with a chance to get the lead back. Braves have led by as many as 8. Childs stepping across all corners of the lane. Brown and Daly with numbers and a finish. 22 for Ryan Daly, who has the Hawks in his blood. Dad Bryant played here from 89 to 92, and of course the grandson of Hawk legend and Jim Boyle. And he has another rebound off the Childs miss.
And as he brings it up here, frankly looks gassed.
And Douglas gets fouled coming across the lane.
Brandon foul number 2, Antonio Thomas. That's his third, team 6.
Antonio Thomas's foul. And Ryan Daly off to the right of us. Feels like 9 minutes left in the second half.
For St. Joseph's.
And I think Ryan was waiting for that breather.
Yeah. Well, you know, the under 8 is a minute and change away.
Moore has gotten to the basket at will, but that time travels.
That's a traveling violation.
What's the 13th St. Joseph's turnover? And Lorenzo Edwards getting worked on by the training staff. Shot clock cut in half.
You know, interestingly, for most of the game, Darryl Brown has been guarded by a taller defender. And I expected more often for him to try and beat Miles Douglas or whomever off the dribble.
Then Kingsby returns for Bradley.
And we said it before, has really had to work for his points.
For Bradley is number 5.
Definitely a better player than what he's shown tonight.
And 1.
And let's remember,
It's opening night.
it's November 5th.
Uh-huh.
There's not a coach in Division I, Matt, who wants to play games this early. I guarantee it.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
Including the 4 at Madison Square Garden tonight.
And what did I see? Duke was up, I think, by 3 at half on Kansas. Tied at 67 here at Hagan Arena. Douglas, and somehow that still stays at this end.
It's got to be a travel or a
it's
foul.
something.
I heard a slap from here.
Or it's one or the other. It's either the walk or the contact. Ryan Daly back in after some oxygen on the bench.
And so much for waiting for the under 8.
Billy Lang knows maybe he can't afford it. Good find for Douglas. 12 points in his first game as a St. Joseph's Hawk. Bar on the wrong end of a high-low. Brown got it punched out from behind, but kept alive. Good hustle play by Kingsby. And Cannell. And a foul on the rebound. Kenneth Clark says it's on Ryan Daly.
Man, I'm just reminded of what Brian Wardo said in our conversation in the Bradley locker room before the game. He was more worried about the unknown, the 2 transfers, Douglas and Daly. 34 points worth of unknown.
And that's almost half the Hawks scoring. Well, we said contributions from everybody. Only Tolliver Freeman, in terms of Hawks who have played tonight, has not scored.
Had a good look at a 3 a couple of trips ago. But there is nothing about this game that would lead you to think it ain't going down to the wire.
Jashawn Henry, who picked up his play late last year. Numbers went up over the Braves' final 12 games. No coincidence. And it ended up coinciding with their tournament title run. First one in what was 31 years for the Braves in an NBC tournament.
But I think if the Hawks are going to hang on and get a victory here in their home opener, another scorer is going to have to emerge down the stretch. Because I think Bradley will be smart enough to limit Daly and or Douglas. Might be Taylor Funk. You know, maybe it's Cam Brown when he gets back in the game.
I'd go with Cam Brown.
I just think real estate's going to get harder to come by.
Daly, and there's some of that real estate. Missed mortgage payment in the lane.
Oh.
And knocked out of bounds off the deep Brown miss. And right now, the pendulum on the Hawks side. St. Joseph's by a point. Accomplished than you are at channel surfing.
That's not saying much. I grew up in the rabbit ears era.
Get up on top of the roof, move it. That's in position. There you go.
No. The remote control for my dad was Joe, get up and change the channel.
Funk one and done. Out of the timeout. And Bradley with a chance to reclaim the lead.
Matt, the Hawks are shooting exactly 50%, which would far exceed expectations, I think, and that's why this is a game.
Nice spin, but way too much for Stephen Gabriel. Off the bench and up it went. Oof. Kingsby with good hands after Daly telegraphed it.
And the coach yelling out, make the easy pass, which would have been Cameron Brown at the top of the key. For the most part, though, the Hawks have passed well and dribbled infrequently.
Ramir Moore sits down. Lorenzo Edwards back in. And ball movement has been impressive. Daly and Funk looking for a little two-game. Shot clock winding down. And Douglas is the bailout and gets fouled. Front end of a 1-and-1 coming from Miles Douglas. 17th foul for Bradley.
Bradley foul number 5, Darryl Brown. That's his third, team 7.
Third one on Darryl Brown. So both teams at the very least. Front end the rest of the way.
Koch Bar, first returns from Bradley. Miles Douglas now.
Koch Bar back in. Gabriel sits down.
A 1-and-1.
Miles Douglas only 47% a couple years ago from the line at UCF, where among others he was a teammate of one Taco Fall.
Hard to believe that a guy as rangy and long as Miles Douglas would give up a foot to anybody.
Right.
But as we saw last year at the Myrtle Beach tournament, when I stood next to Taco Fall, he's a building.
And one of a couple of UCF transfers, Terrell Allen, who started his career at Drexel, was the other one. And he has St. Joseph's back in front by 3. Daly, quick hands, but that'll stay at this end. Inside 10 to shoot. Bar has hit that several times, just not that one.
Big time offensive rebound by Childs, who may have hopped a bit when he landed.
Stepping into this one and well off target, but Kingsby with the offensive rebound ran it down. And Douglas with the big block from behind. Funk off the step back. And Douglas gets fouled. He'll go back to the line. That was either going to be a travel or contact.
And both teams really aggressive on the offensive glass these last few trips, but neither able to convert on their second, and in Bradley's case, third and fourth chances.
Things continue to stay tight at Hagan Arena. We've already had one game involving an A-10 score go to overtime. Down in Fairfax, George Mason and Navy on opening night headed there. The Douglas and Daly show continues. Miles Douglas 15 in his St. Joseph's debut. Lots of social media for both he and Ryan Daly in the days leading up to this one.
Well, and Douglas not even learning that he'd be eligible until about 2.5, 3 weeks ago.
Ryan Daly's Instagram said 611 days later.
No wonder why it felt like Christmas Eve.
Shot clock winding down, and Cannell. So the shot clock might as well have been at 1 there, where he shot that.
40% shooter from beyond a year ago, and the biggest one of the night thus far for the Braves.
And hit 65 of them. And the rebound off the miss will stay at this end. One more look at Cannell. Almost standing on the sideline. Douglas nearly threw it away again. Edwards right there.
Oh! That's an accurate call, I think, but it's just a goofy rule in that a foul on the defense.
Well, round the A-10, we mentioned George Mason in overtime, up 3 on Navy. VCU trying to close out St. Francis of Pennsylvania. Rhode Island up late on Long Island by 10. As Stanley gets the front end of the 1-1. UMass finishing out UMass Lowell. And St. Bonaventure midway through the second half, down almost double digits at home against the Ohio Bobcats. And Daly gets both to make this as comfortable as it's been all night for the Hawks. Cannell. Cameron Brown not giving him much space. And travels.
And you'll notice in these crunch possessions, it's Ryan Daly bringing the ball up court, not Miles Douglas.
Continued to be a theme, and Douglas and Funk, right idea, but...
Yeah, but he threw it to Tolliver Freeman, who wasn't in the game.
I was going to say Justin Scott was open over there, but he's wearing a suit. Ramir Moore back in. It's still an eternity left in this basketball game.
Ramir Moore returns for St. Joseph.
I thought it was going to be first to 85, Joe. I don't know. We're grinding now.
4 minutes, a lot can happen.
That's true. Brown caught in between a double team and foul.
Last 1-1 for either team coming here.
St. Joseph's fouls on number 10. Ramir Moore.
Both will be double bonus the rest of the way.
The team's ninth. Darryl Brown, with 5 from Bradley, is on the line. He's shooting a 1-and-1.
Darryl Brown, 3 of 4 on the night. Braves are 9 of 11 as a team. And St. Joseph's, for a team that didn't have a lot of these folks a year ago, 75% as a team last year, they've opened up 90% from the line. 18 of 20 are the Hawks. 1 of 2 for Brown. And Edwards able to corral what's only his 4th rebound of the night. All on the defensive glass. Inside 4 minutes, alongside the bracketologist Joe Lenardi, Matt Martucci.
And this extended zone from Bradley, you would think would be the right play. But the Hawks have beaten it pretty much every time in the second half.
Except not this time. Douglas throws it away.
Bradley's reach had to pay off at some point.
His 5th turnover, and Brown cashes in. We're tied up. 76. Funk, though, streaking down the floor. And a goaltend on Jashawn Henry. And a rare 2-point field goal for Taylor Funk. St. Joseph's with the official timeout.
I just didn't think the Hawks would be able to score that much because of their inexperience, and Bradley isn't really built to play that way either, at least they weren't a year ago.
Nice back door for Brown, and they get the extra pass. Cannell, and one more, Kingsby, and that's a big miss.
Way to pull it out for Douglas there.
Has the tendency,
but it is an adventure when somebody as crafty as Darryl Brown is on him.
Edwards, and well off target. Brown sent back by Jashawn Henry. Shot clock does not reset. Moore with it down to 6. And nothing there, says Ryan Sassano. Came crashing into Koch Bar.
But the cylinder rule for defensive positioning allows the defender, Matt, to go straight up and not commit a foul.
And there it is.
And
that's what it is.
That is a good rule and equally good officiating.
Daly curled to the corner.
Daly 0 for 6 from beyond the arc tonight. About the only thing that hasn't been efficient for him.
Well, they want to get Darryl Brown the ball, just haven't been able to do so. Good denial by the Hawks. Bar. And when you need him to make it, not the most efficient from out there.
It was easy early for the big guy.
Funk. That would have brought the house down, but a foul on the rebound will stay at this end.
Douglas, I think, shoved by Cannell. Is that who they got?
Bradley foul number 5.
It's on Darryl Brown, his 4th.
Team is over the limit.
Now the Hawks 2 minutes from potentially giving Billy Lang a victory in his debut.
Number 2, Miles Douglas.
Against the team that was picked 2nd in their league. And part of a very difficult non-conference schedule.
Which Billy Lang and the Hawks staff have welcomed. You know, which is an easy thing to say in September and October. But without any home games until the end of the month, this would go a long way from St. Joseph's as they start anew.
Brown curling, open, and cashes in.
Amir Moore caught on a screen, fell down, and that gave Brown a large opening. And the senior stepped up big time.
Daly working the elbow.
Oh,
Douglas high off the glass.
Circus shot. Not a very high percentage play. Good defense by the Braves.
Cannell really wanted that, but Douglas's length too much. Childs going to the rack and denied. Coming inside of a minute to go.
Sandwiched by Funk and Edwards.
Edwards got his own miss, but fouled and will go. Now might we be in for some bonus for double-figure scores for the Braves, led by Darryl Brown's 14.
Edwards on the line for St. Joseph's. He's shooting 2.
Edwards under 83% last season. And a perfect 4 for 4 on the night. And got them both.
Whoa!
And not sure what Brown was doing there, but able to capitalize and get it back. But a force from Henry. And now the Braves have to foul.
Well, no, they can play it out.
Not necessarily, but Cannell electing to do just that. Yeah, I mean, you could. You would have had about 9 seconds left.
I actually like this from Bradley's point of view because what you want to do is increase the number of possessions remaining in the game. And then doing so, you know, they're sending a true freshman to the foul line. Like we said, a true freshman to the foul line.
Only the 3rd miss of the night, but it comes at such an inopportune time.
Yeah, the Hawks 22 of 24 before that one, which is crazy.
And now 88% after the Brown miss.
24 of 26, now 24 of 27. This would make it a 2-possession game.
3-second differential, shot and game clock. Cannell, Brown just trying to get a shot off. They won't let him.
Oh, Billy Lang better get back in the box.
And foul on the floor first.
He went over half court to coach the defense, and it is a point of emphasis this year. And that would be a heck of a time to get a technical foul.
St. Joseph's foul number 10, Ramir Moore. That is his third.
But this is not a bad outcome for either team, really. The Hawks want to do anything except give up a three. And Bradley wants to try and score with the clock stopped. And an offense-defense substitution here. Funk back, Moore out. Funk also, at least as a freshman, was an outstanding free throw shooter.
Both of them for Cannell. Rusty Phillips telling Ryan Daly he can run if he so chooses. Edwards able to break free. And they'll foul Daly.
That is the 11th time tonight that Ryan Daly has been fouled. I love the fouls drawn column in the new box scores. He makes both. But then you got to go to the rim and you got to go quickly.
Ryan Daly. He's shooting 2.
Now there's one of 2. 25 in his St. Joseph's debut for Ryan Daly.
And now Bradley calling timeout.
Ryan Daly.
Well, we talked about Ryan Daly earlier in the night.
Shooting 1.
Probably slept in his uniform. And able to ice it.
Whoa!
And that will certainly do it. The 14th Bradley turnover of the night is the Braves' most costly.
And the most inexplicable.
Seconds left. Just have to get the ball in bounds and make free throws.
Well, mostly just have to kill time at this point. I don't know that even if Lorenzo Edwards were to miss a pair, that there's going to be 2 possessions left in this game at the offensive end for the Braves.
That's a good point.
And you hate to say that free throws are inconsequential, but the number that matters is 6.6 seconds.
All-around game tonight for Lorenzo Edwards. 12 points to go along with 7 rebounds and 4 assists. One of 4 double-figure scores for Billy Lang. Now 1 of 2. And that'll do it. The son of a pair of St. Joseph's graduates, Billy Lang, with a win in his debut as St. Joseph's new head coach.
Norfolk State leading both free throws. Texas Cruisers 905-61. Koch Bar is back replacing Trout for the break.
Braves are in the bonus on the next Norfolk foul. Jenkins into the Spartans as well. Line one. Team foul 10, the Braves are the double bonus for the remainder of the half. And the line bar shoots. Replaces Chambers. second. Free throws for Koch Bar. Shooting foul, 2 free throws. At the line, Sadiq. Relay Carolina. Carolina replaces Canal. Visit allbases.com. Fix is in for Norfolk State. sure to tune in to WBE 1470 at 100.3 FM. We're staying to see here in the arena. Listen to the Bradley postgame show with Dave Snell, Chad Finehouse, the Amherst, Illinois player of the game. Amherst, Illinois, energy savings made easy.
You guys are ridiculous.
Two free throws and a basketball. Henry shoots two to break and retain possession. Replaces the D-back. Off of 13, Darrell Anderson, his first.